May it please the court. Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binaries of the jury, are any of us truly perfect? I know I'm not. Could any of you guys say that you are? Imagine growing up in an 8-sibling household with an alcoholic mother and an absent father. Could you say that you'll be a perfect person without mistakes? No, and that is the case with my client, Wanda Jean Allens. At the age of 12, she was hit by a truck and knocked unconscious. Though this may not seem to have much to do with the case, it proves her inability to make cognitive skills because at the age of 17, she dropped out of high school because she suffered from mental retardation. But the prosecution doesn't want you to know that she suffered from this, because that is what the prosecution wants you to think. They want you to think that she finished high school and even went to some college. That is not the case. As I have shown you throughout this trial, through evidence, that she has not finished high school and she didn't even attend one day of college, let alone half of it. So what the prosecution is saying is false. They want you to believe that her past mistakes is the reason why she should be put to death for her future mistake. Could you imagine every mistake that you made being used against you? That's what the prosecution wants you to do to my client. Because her prior mistake of committing murder, though wrong, she admitted to the crime, pled guilty, and has served her time. While serving time for her first mistake, Allen met Gloria Lathers, who sadly became her second victim. There, they became the closest of friends, so much so that even after both were released, Lathers asked to stay with Allen because she was having difficulties at home. Allen agreed, and not long after, a romantic relationship ensued. And like all relationships, theirs weren't perfect, which is the case with many relationships. On the night of Lathers' death, they had an argument in front of a grocery store, and Lathers went to the police station with her mother to go file a complaint. There, Allen showed up and shot Lathers in the stomach in front of her mother and then drove off. You could say that this was very malicious and violent, but that was not the intent of my client. It was just what she thought she had to do because of her mental disability. Like the psychologist said, who was our expert witness, Allen had cognitive and sensory motor defects and brain dysfunction. And the prosecution wants you to believe that she had a serious intent to kill because she had the right state of mind, which, as our expert witness says, was not the case. So could you imagine sending someone to death based off of what their mind thought was right, but in fact was wrong? Could you blame that person, or should you send them to a mental institution to get help? Because not only is my client an African-American woman with a mental inability to think for herself, she is also a lesbian. Lastly, I would like to remind you that you have the life of Wanda Jean Allen in your hand. She should not be put to death because of a past conviction that she has already served time for, and she shouldn't be found guilty for a crime that, as you and I both know, she did not have the mental capacity to make the right decision. So instead of sending her away or putting her to death, you should instead place her into a mental institution so she can get the help that she deserves so she can better her life and her future. I would also like to thank the jury for their time and patience with me throughout this entire trial, and that they should think long and hard before they make their final decision. Thank you.